I'm going to talk to Uwe Boll. Hello, Uwe Boll. You live in one of my favourite places in the world, Vancouver. Have you eaten at Cardero's restaurant that's located in Cole Harbour Quay? I have fond memories. Deep Cove, North Vancouver would be a fantastic film location, so bear that in mind for your future productions.
I ate in Cardero's restaurant various times actually. The torta milanese is my favorite dessert almost in the city, and they have that nice salmon on the wood plank. I totally love it. And Deep Cove, I walked my dogs a lot of times, did the loop. I went all the way up to the point from down at Deep Cove. It's so a very, very nice location there.
Uwe, tell me about your earliest memories when you decided that writing and directing films was going to be your passion.
My earliest memories are basically, there was a small movie theater in our hometown, and I watched like Godzilla and all kinds of movies there. The Bridge on the River Kwai, Ben Hur, classics, Spartacus. I was 6, 7 years old and always went alone. Walked in and watched the movie. So, and when I watched Maternity of the Bounty with Marlon Brando, I told my mother I want to make movies because I thought it's real. Like if you make movies, you live the dream basically, and you are in real in that adventures. So that is how I turned into a movie person.
I love the silent moments before watching a movie, not knowing anything about the ride I'm about to experience. Sometimes I watch a film trailer and its total plot, including surprises, is given away to the point I think to myself, what's the point of buying a ticket? Is this film trailer trend something you've noticed?
Yeah, if I watch today's film trailers, I basically see the whole movie, and it's pissing me off. It's like, but basically most of the movies today you watch, and it's like you feel after 5 minutes you know exactly who will survive, who will die, and it's boring. And that is the reason I make movies like Rampage and so on, or Darfur, movies where you don't know how they end to surprise the audience. That is, of course, my goal.
We will have films we will remember forever, and the 70s and 80s had memories for many, including groundbreaking film experiences like Alien, The Exorcist and A Clockwork Orange. Regarding horror movies, talk to me about what you got up to as a teenager.
I mean, when I was like 14, I faked my school ID so that I could go in movies that were R-rated and NC-17. So I grew up with horror movies. I watched a lot of John Carpenter movies directly when they came out, like Halloween, for example, or the Same. And then, of course, Man-Eater, all kinds of Italian horror movies from Fulci and Argento and so on. I was fascinated by it because I didn't know really how they do the tricks. I watched Dawn of the Dead, George Romero's the movie, and of course Faces of Death, the ultimate horror thing. What we have now on the internet, stuff like this, of course. So they are all in my brain, and but also, of course, great movies like Apocalypse Now, Deer Hunter, and other movies, Serpico, French Connection. So I'm a very big fan of the 80s and 70s of movies where not so much CGI effects were done.
Uwe, I've come across a few under-the-radar surprises like Jennifer Lynch's Chained and the original version of Funny Games. Have you stumbled across anyone else's work recently that has energised you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Funny Games, the first Funny Games from Haneke in Germany was a masterpiece. I think it's his best movie he ever did. And I watched before that Benny's video from him and I was fascinated with Haneke. And then when he got all the international recognition, I think he went downhill. A movie like L'Amour I can do in 1 week for 150,000, and he got like $6 million to make it. It's kind of absurd. And but there are not a lot of movies really. They are in the last few years where they were really say, "Wow, what a movie!" You know, like There Will Be Blood was a movie like this, what I absolutely loved. and what makes you think like, okay, I should keep making movies because there are stuff out what I admit. I like Prisoners with Hugh Jackman, was I think a very good movie. So, but in regards of horror, was not a lot what blew me away, basically, to be honest.
Uwe, why do you bother responding to the negative press and critics of the past? Sometimes it's more powerful not to give them any attention.
Yeah, I try to ignore the reviews of the past. To be honest, I try to ignore like people they still bashing me on movies like House of the Dead, and they completely ignored Auschwitz, Darfur, Southern Wall Street, Rampage 1 and 2, Postal. They all ignored, but then I made 6, 7, 8 totally different movies, very political movies. Tunnel Rats, my Vietnam War movie, I think is a very good movie. So I tried to step behind it and leave it behind me, absolutely.
More people are moving away from the mundane reality shows and moving wallpaper of television, and they're choosing their content from Twitter, YouTube and other social networks. Tell me your thoughts on this and how it's affecting your business.
Yes, I totally agree. People now are picking whatever they want to see, and it's too bad, Like it's too bad for me as a producer because now all the TV channels they don't pay you. Netflix doesn't really pay you a lot of money, and it's very frustrating because all the Hulu and Google Drive and stuff is not really replacing the DVD revenues we had in earlier years. So it's like kind of a downfall. And as an independent producer, I'm not able to do it. I'm not able to finance my movies anymore. And I mean, newcomers who can make a movie for $150,000. Okay, maybe that works, but I just cannot do that anymore. For this, I made too many movies with bigger budgets, and I need my setup in a way,
In your film Seed, that hammerhead bashing scene is one scene that stood out for me. Very well edited. I like the way that scene took its time.
Yeah, the Seed hammer scene, I wanted to totally I was infiltrated by the movie what was it where the friend Vincent Cassel is doing with the fire extinguisher smashing a head, and I felt like I want to do a a longer scene where a head gets completely hammered away. So that was my scene in Seed, where I felt like, okay, that is a new standard, a new grenade, very complicated scene to shoot because you have to build the whole woman, the body, as a silicone body, and then you have to do a CGI version of it, and you have to have, of course, an original actress in it. And then the guy had the hammer, one time with a rubber hammer, then the real hammer, and then just not the metal part, only the stick, so that he could swing to the head, and the actress had to react to it, and we totally bloodied her up.
In your first Rampage film, there's scenes that include dialogue which is directed in a realistic manner, which stands out for me because people do talk over one another as they do in real life. And it's good to see this on screen.
Yeah, the first Rampage, both Rampage movies, and also the Darfur movie, I did without script. I did only treatments, and people should act completely natural and be so in their mind spirit, in their parts, that it works. And I think in Rampage and also in Darfur, it worked very well. And it's very, very intense, and at the same time, totally naturalistic. I'm happy that you recognize that.
Tell me what you're working on at the moment and why your audience should be excited.
Yeah, now I try to finish the Rampage trilogy, basically. I felt after Rampage 2, I have an obligation to finish that story about Bill Williamson, and I hope the fans agree with me and support the Kickstarter campaign. It is really my passion project because it has all my political views. Also, I think the Earth goes under. We are basically, we will be extinct within the next 80 years because we completely fucked up the world we're living in. All the ice is melting. We will have massive floods. We have already now absolutely natural disasters everywhere. And I just don't see the exits, right? More hurricanes, then the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer. And like India, for example, is running out of any clean water. So in India, a billion people or more, the prediction is within 8 years in India will maybe die 100 to 200 million people. And it's just we totally like tanked the world. And instead of facing the real problems, standing up for them, we totally going down the drain and ignoring it. Everybody only wants to make money, or what, like, and everybody's an individual narcissist, an individual egoist, basically, and that is like, and I pointed out with Rampage, and with Bill Williamson, even as a cynical mass murderer, he is like Hannibal Lecter also was, like, he's a very fascinating evil guy, but at the same time he completely nails it. He's absolutely right with what he says, and absolutely right with in a way what he's doing, because who cares, like, if we all die, why not just shooting everybody now?
Have you wondered about the younger creatives of today and what films they'll look back on?
I really wonder about what young filmmakers watch, basically, and what is the infiltrating movies for them. If they started the film education with E.T. or Star Wars or Indiana Jones, and say classics are Star Trek or whatever, then of course I'm shocked. I started with Citizen Kane and John Ford, The Searchers, and I watched it all since the beginning of the movies. Potemkin from Eisenstein and Greed from Erich von Stroheim, whatever. I really have the full historical film education, and I'm very worried what young filmmakers actually educate their wisdom, the Ninja Turtles or what. It's crazy.
Is social networking an avenue you might invest more time in by supporting and interacting with others?
Of course, social networking, as you see right now, that is the most important thing, because if you don't have that major advertising budgets, the only thing what you can do is social networking. You have to Twitter, Facebook, and do all the stuff. That's the only chance to promote a movie today without spending too much money.
It's commendable for you to remind young Germans about the horrors of World War II with your film Auschwitz. But before your production, did you consider highlighting other atrocities that also deserve attention?
Yeah, my Auschwitz movie, it was very important for me to do it. And I always want to point out things that were not like in the media before or not shown. And I felt like there is no movie what actually shows what René's documentary Night and Fog showed, like the death, the killing, the machine of the killing. And when you read all the interviews with people that worked there in the concentration camps, and so you see it was a meat plant. People died within a day coming in, 50% of the people. And when you watch movies like Schindler's List, you actually think there was a big, long melodrama for years and of survivors and everything, and you totally exclude that most of the people just got selected and killed. And I wanted to show that. I wanted to show a normal day in a concentration camp where the people actually, the selection, like they walk in different directions and it's over, basically.
Tell me about the time you found the talented actor Brendan Fletcher.
I met Brendan Fletcher as a young actor on my movie Heart of America about school violence, where he played the bully. It was 2002, 2003. I shot it in Vancouver with Elizabeth Moss. She's a big star with Mad Men now and West Wing before. She was one of the first people I casted at all, and she played a pregnant girl from school. She has to go for an abortion. It's a very good movie, Heart of America. Try to check it out. I really recommend it.
Finally, Uwe, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, and I have my question to you is, who are you? Like, how you're really looking? Like, maybe you send me a photo. I will not post it because I'm always interested to the face I'm talking to.